Good evening, otherworldlies. How's everyone today? This is Juliana Angel, your Dark Mask Diva. Hey, how's everyone feeling? Everyone excited about the weekend? I know I am. So today, I'm just going to let everybody know, ladies, it is never a flex when you get some. That's right. It's never a flex when you get laid. Of course, it's okay to get happy about it. It's okay to get excited about it. We're all happy when it happens, right? We're all in a real good mood afterwards, right? We're all happy. We're all happy to see our man. We're all happy to get it started. We're all happy to get it going. We're all happy afterwards. We're all in a real good mood about it, right? But it's not a flex when it happens, okay? It's not a flex when you've been with a lot of guys. It's not, it's just not a flex, okay? It's not. So I'm going to talk about something that happened when I was real young and when I was married the first time. I was a newlywed, and these were some friends of my first husband's. It was I think these were some friends of his. I don't know if they were. I think they were some girlfriends of his friends. Yeah. And so, he was talking to them, and I was talking to the ladies and everything, how you have to kind of make nice with everyone. And so we're sitting and talking, and okay, I'm going to say some mean things, okay, because I do that. We're sitting and talking, and I'm going to tell you something, and I don't know if you're going to make fun of me for this or like me for this or whatever. It doesn't really matter. But my husband was my first, okay? So whatever you think of that, that's kind of the way I wanted it to be. So we're sitting, and of course, we're having that talk, and they wanted to ask me a bunch of, questions and everything, and I said, yeah, my husband was my first and all this, and, so, this other lady in the group, she was like Miss Macho and everything, and she said, well, I served 4 years in the military as this, military police, and I said, wow, that's cool and everything like that. And she goes, well, I've been with over 100 men. I go, wow, that's really different than, the life path I took. Tell me about that, like that must be really interesting. Wow. So she just starts bragging about it, right? So I said, 4 years in the military. She goes, yeah. So I said, 100 guys, huh? She goes, yeah. So she's going on and on and on and bragging about it, right? Well, I'm young, like I'm, like 21, 22 years old. So, she's telling me all about this, and she's in her early 20s, okay? Early 20s, bragging about being with over 100 men. So she's bragging about it. But I'm thinking, well, 4 years in the military, that's access to a lot of guys, right? So I'm like, well, yeah, easily she has had access to a lot of guys, get on it, soldier, right? So she keeps bragging and bragging and bragging about being with these 100 guys. And I'm like, well, okay, so you've been with 100 guys. Okay, well, I guess you had to find something to do, right? So she's going on and on and on and bragging about it. So I'm thinking, okay, so you're bragging about being with 100 guys, big deal, I'm thinking. And so, this other young woman who was with us, she was actually like 18. She brags about being with almost that many guys, and I'm just sitting there going, okay. And, I wasn't trying to be like judgmental or anything, and I was like, okay, well, I'm one of the only people that really only wanted to be with one person for the rest of my life. And I don't want to slut shame people or anything like that. I was just like, to each their own. Some people want to be with a whole bunch of people and get a super high count, and they want to experience everything life has to offer. But I'm going to tell you, I was already a world traveler, okay? I'd already done a lot of things I wanted to do with my life at a young age, and I'd already had a really hard life, like a really hard life. So I really didn't feel the need to go sleep with a bunch of people. I had already done a bunch of stuff with my life. I didn't really just feel the need to do that. I really was like, I was cool, and my drive is pretty healthy. I mean, it's not like I just didn't feel the need to be with all these different people. But these two girls, they just, these two women rather. I'm saying girls because we were young, okay? We were like in our early 20s. And this one was teenaged, and they just kept talking about it and going on and on and on, and I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay, keep going on and on about it, and I'm like, wow, so like, where were you stationed? Where did you go? I was gonna go Fort Dix, you know, like, so you met all these guys, and like you were with all these dudes, and like that's really interesting, you know, and she just kept talking about it. I'm like, okay, well, she's obviously like really, 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 really into sex with a bunch of different people, obviously, because she would not shut up about it. She kept going on and on and on and on and on. So, you know, so then they started asking me what I like to, you know, do with my husband, and I'm like, I don't think you guys need any pointers, right? And I started laughing. I said, I don't really think you guys, like, I said it, I go, you guys don't sound like you need any pointers. I'm not going to tell you what I do with them, you know, because I'm thinking, if you tell people what you do with your husband, they might become interested in you and your husband, you know what I'm saying? I don't want them to go like, ooh, she's a freak, and that I don't want them interested in me either. Like, if people, you know, are having that much sex, you know, they might be bi or something. I don't want them like wanting me too, you know. So I was like, you know, like, keep it on the hush, you know. So I was like, yeah, I didn't want them to be like, hey, we should swing with them or something. I'm like, you know, we do enough, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like they were trying to get all up in my business. I said, we do, you know, probably do a lot of the same stuff you guys have done, you know. I go, we do enough, you know, and I'd already had a baby, so I said, you know, we just kind of, you know, we've tried a few things, and we've done this, we've done that, you know, and I really didn't want to, like, tell them, you know, like, whatever stuff, you know, that they might get offended by maybe some of the stuff we tried or whatever, but we were man and wife. I didn't really think it was their business, you know. I'm kind of was like an old-fashioned girl, you know. I didn't want to tell other people what I'd done in the bedroom with my husband. I mean, it was none of their business, right? And so I'm like, why are you guys asking, you know, like, somebody, like, by comparison, I'm a prude, I'm a married lady, you know, and I'm like, why are you asking me, you know? And I'm like, are they making that story up about all these dudes they banged? I mean, like, and why are they asking me? And so they keep going on and on about all this, like, sex they've had and everything, and I'm thinking, why are they going on and on about it like they're bragging about it? And they wouldn't, like, stop talking about it and everything, and I just kind of like, why do they keep talking about it? And I'm like, wow, you know, that's really different. That's like, you guys have, you know, led a different life than me, and that's really interesting and stuff like that. And they're like, I can't believe you haven't been with anyone else. And I go, well, I never felt like the need to be. I go, I was just, like, busy doing other stuff, and I just, like, to be honest, I really don't want to. That's the whole thing, I don't want to. You know, I go, I'm trying to keep people from trying to have sex with me. I go, that's my whole deal, is I'm trying to, like, avoid it. That's the whole thing, was I was trying to avoid avoid having sex with other people. I don't want to. You know, like, I just kind of, I don't really, I would rather not do that, you know, and they're talking about, you know, I did this and I did that, and I'm thinking, like, what is the big deal? Like, why do they keep going on and harping on, like, how many dudes they've been with? And they go, well, once I had this guy and he was 9 inches, and they're going on and on about, you know, like, sizes and all this stuff, and I was just like, well, that's pretty big, you know, good for you, and all this kind of stuff. Just like, okay, you know, and they were just, I'm like, you know, you can buy one that size in the store, you know. It's just like, what is the, you know, it just kind of, it was kind of like, you know, when guys go fishing and they hold up the fish, look, I caught one this big, kind of deal, you know. They were just being really, they were just being really stupid, you know, and they were just, like, bragging about it, and I'm thinking, they're trying to impress me. Like, why are they trying to impress me? I was a virgin before my husband, you know, like, why are they trying to impress me? Why? Like, I'm thinking, they think it's a big deal to get laid. Why? And I'm like, they're trying to flex in front of me, and like, they think it's a big deal to get laid. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Wait. They don't think they're attractive. So they think that it takes, like, some kind of effort to get a guy to sleep with them. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, do I have to break it to him? because I'm just trying to keep guys from leaving me alone. Like, they actually think that it takes effort to get a guy to go to bed with them. And like, I'm, like 21, 22 years old, and like, I know that it takes effort just to get a guy to leave you alone. And like, you have to be careful not to get assaulted. I mean, I don't want to go into scary territory here, but you have to be careful to protect yourself from stuff like that. I mean, they must have some really awful stories to tell, and I'm glad they didn't tell them. But they must have had some stories where they were hurt too, and it's just kind of like, I'm like, I don't know how to tell them this, but men will sleep with anything. But I didn't come out and say that to him. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting here and I'm the blonde and I'm supposed to be the dumb one, but I was like, I don't want to have to be the one to break it to him. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, so they were just kind of like sitting there and they were bragging, and I'm thinking, these two are craving validation. They're craving validation. They've been craving validation this whole time. That's why they slept with all those guys. And now they're craving it from me. Oh my God, they're craving it from me. So I'm just like, wow, that must have been like quite an adventure. And like, you guys have really done a lot. Wow, so I'm just kind of, that's interesting and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow. And they've, so they're like, you're just really not curious about anyone else? And I'm like, no, because that's just not who I am. And I go, but this is who you are. And that's cool, because I really, to be honest, I mean, if you've been with a bunch of people, that's on you, like, if that's what you wanted to do. Because if you've been with someone and they're not very good, get rid of them and go sleep with somebody better. That's better than staying with somebody who sucks in bed, because, since my husband passed away, I've had to be with a few people that sucked in bed, and I got rid of them. I'm going to be honest, like, you should not stay with somebody who sucks in bed, who's not going to listen to you and not do it right. Like, just get rid of them, seriously. And I've been with a few people that sucked in bed, and I was just like, I'm really not going to stay in this relationship if this guy sucks in bed, because, no. I liked being with my husband, and I've had a few good partners, and I've had a few bad partners, and I'm just like, I'm not going to stay with somebody who sucks in bed. I'm not going to cheat on him either. I'm just going to break up with him. I'm just going to be like, this is not happening with us in the bedroom, and you're not going to listen, and I can't be good for the both of us. I mean, if you're with somebody who's okay and you can kind of work with them and you're good, maybe you can bring them up to speed. But if somebody just straight up like sucks in bed, just get rid of them, because you're going to hate them and the relationship's not going to work. Just get rid of them. So I'm just going to keep it real. But I mean, they were with all those people, like that one chick, like 26 years old, and she's been with like 100 guys, but she's in the military. Think of all the guys she had access to. I mean, I think she wasn't on her job, to be honest. I mean, she could have been with more guys if she applied herself. I mean, like, well, you don't have to apply yourself is what I'm talking about. So she was actually seeking validation from sleeping with all those guys, and then she wanted validation from me. Why are you asking another lady for validation? I don't care. I don't care if you're with all those guys. I mean, I'm not impressed. I'm like, okay, so you slept with a bunch of guys. I'm glad you're okay, is what I wanted to say. I'm like, are you okay? Like, did you catch anything? I'm glad you don't have a disease. I'm glad nobody hurt you. I'm glad you're not like in a dumpster somewhere, okay? I mean, I'm glad you're okay, is what I'm trying to say, and, the other young woman, she was like 17 or 18, and I'm just like, oh, she had some miles on her too. This is such a rude thing to say. I don't even want to talk about her, because she was a young lady, and she done some stuff, and I just felt like I didn't want to be judgmental, but they were like bragging about it. And the thing is, I'm going to tell you guys will sleep with anything. It is not a flex, ladies, to go to bed with somebody, okay? The thing is, they will sleep with anything. They don't care. I mean, guys will brag about what they do. They'll brag about if they're in, like, a group situation. They'll brag about being with 2 ugly girls. They'll brag about being with 2 pretty girls. They'll brag about, like having all this different type of sex. I mean, they will just brag about everything they do. It doesn't matter if you're attractive or not. They'll still go to bed with you. I mean, they still might not show your face in public. I mean, they really don't, they really don't care what you look like, okay? They'll turn around and hit it from the back so they don't have to look at your face. Okay? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be gross and mean, but they'll take you for a bunch of Netflix and chill dates, okay? Because they don't want to show you in public. It'll be a bunch of hookups. You'll be in a lot of friends with benefits relationships. All right? Sex is not a flex when you're a woman, okay? If you're a woman who goes out seeking a bunch of sexual relationships, you can find something better to do with your life. All right? You should be trying to get a better life. All right? Because women's lives are hard. They are. I mean, we go through so much. And I'm sorry, but if you're in a relationship that's just like a purely sexual relationship, he does not care about you. He's using you, and he knows it. He knows he can use you. He's not trying to take you in public. He's losing respect for you every time you let him hit it and not try to have a future with you. He does not care. And you could be extremely attractive, but he knows he can have a purely sexual relationship with you. You know it? And you're trying to have that with him. It's no kind of validation whatsoever. He knows he can get away with it. Don't feel flattered for a minute, okay? I mean, I know I'm not being very nice, but it's only the truth. All right? And I mean, these women were even seeking validation from me, and I'm sitting there thinking, I couldn't even come out and tell them I felt so sorry for them. I'm like, you're just like letting all these guys use you. And I'm sorry, women with like super, super high sex drives are usually less attractive women. I'm sorry. That is a mean thing for me to say. But if you're a woman out there looking for a bunch of sex, you're probably on the less attractive side. Alright, if you're really, really attractive, alright, and you really got your stuff together, you need to go out there and get your money. You need to go out there, you need to be about something, okay? And you know, even if you're not very attractive, you need to make the most of yourself, and you need to be trying to get somebody to love you instead. First, you need to love yourself. That's basically it, and not really worry about men. But if you do have a guy in your life, he needs to be taking care of you. All right, and if he's trying to build with you and all this, he does not care about you. He needs to be taking care of you, because you're the woman in the relationship. You don't need to take care of him. He needs to take care of you. He is not the prize, you are. He needs to be taking you out on dates, spending money on you, and taking you around and showing you off because he's proud of you, okay? Not these Netflix and chill, and you go to his house and he goes to your house and stuff like that, and you guys just do it a lot, okay? Yeah, you know, sex is part of the relationship, and you guys need to enjoy it, all right? Because you do need to enjoy the sex, okay? There's nothing wrong with sex. You need to be, you know, doing enough of that, and there's nothing wrong with being good in bed. You need to be good in bed. All right, there's nothing wrong with having those skills, right? Have those skills. That's, you know, that's part of it. You want to enjoy that part of your life. You're a woman, right? But it's not up there, okay? It's part of your life, but it's not. That's not what he needs to see you as, you know, that kind of dumpster. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm really just trying not to get in trouble here, but I'm not monetized yet. You know what I'm saying? There's men put women in categories. All right, there's the kind where he just wants to lounge around your house and kind of use you for something. Okay, and there's women that are like a dream girl where he wants to show you off, he wants to take you all over the place, and you know you're attractive, and you're the kind of woman that promotes his status, and you know you're intelligent, you have something on the ball, you have something to offer besides that, And that has no face, if you know what I'm saying, okay? So, the lights go off and he doesn't have to look at your face, and he goes to town, okay? And then there's the kind of women that he shows off in public. That's the kind of woman you want to be. All right? And your mind does not need to be on sex. Your mind needs to be on, what can this man do for me? That's the validation, all right? You want a man that loves you and wants to take care of you, wants to make your life better. Because if the man is not elevating your status, if the man is not taking care of you, making your life better, making your life easier, okay? If he's not making your life easier, if he's not making your life better, okay? If he's not promoting your life, if he's not taking your financial burdens away, he is completely fucking useless. Got it? His worth is not in his pants, okay? And neither is yours, all right? Yours needs, what you got in your pants needs to be good, but that's not really, that's not what it's about, all right? And his worth is not what's in his pants. It's part of the relationship, but that's not what you need to be looking for. He needs to be making your life better. And do not validation seek with all these guys sleeping with him. They will sleep with anything. And that is real, and I am keeping it 100%. Stop sleeping with these bozos. Okay? I love you, otherworldlies. This is your Juliana Angel, your Dark Mass Diva. And you guys have a wonderful evening. Good night.